Peace is a lie. Those four words form the foundation of one of the most seductive philosophies in fiction. We are taught from birth to be kind, to share, to wait our turn. But the Dark Lord archetype rejects all of that. They look at the chaos of the world and decide that order, real order, can only be achieved through the strength of one's own will. Whether it's a Sith acolyte on Korriban, a Maya spirit forging a ring in the fires of Mount Doom, or a sorcerer splitting his soul into 7 pieces, the promise is the same: absolute power. But there is a pattern we see across almost every legend and every epic. The moment a character achieves the power they've sacrificed everything for, the clock starts ticking toward their inevitable, miserable end. Why? Why does the dark side always contain the seeds of its own destruction? Today, we aren't just looking at one galaxy or one story. We are looking at the philosophy of self-destruction. We're exploring why the power at any cost trap is the most effective prison ever built. Let's look at the Sith code for a moment. Through victory my chains are broken. The Force shall free me. It sounds like a liberation movement. But here is the first tragedy. The Dark Lord seeks to break the chains of morality and social order. But in doing so, they forge a much heavier chain: paranoia. When your entire philosophy is built on the idea that the strong rule the weak, you can never truly have a friend. You can only have tools or rivals. Think about the rule of 2. It was designed to keep the Sith strong, but it turned life into a constant state of kill or be killed. In Tolkien's world, Sauron didn't want to destroy Middle-earth. He wanted to administer it. He wanted total efficiency, but because he couldn't conceive of anyone not wanting power, he never imagined that 2 small hobbits would try to destroy the ring rather than use it. His own obsession with power made him blind to the very thing that defeated him. The lesson: when you view everyone as a pawn, you eventually find yourself alone on the board. And a king with no pieces left is just a target. In almost every mythology, the dark side is toxic. It isn't just a different way of using power, it is a corruption of the self. In Star Wars, we see the physical degradation of Palpatine or the ancient Sith Lords. In Harry Potter, Voldemort loses his human features, becoming snake-like and hollow. In the myth of Midas, the power to turn everything to gold leads to starvation. Why does this happen in our stories? Because dark power is usually depicted as taking a shortcut. Instead of the slow, disciplined growth of a hero, the Dark Lord steals energy. They drain life from the planet, from others, or from their own future. This is the entropy of evil. To maintain that level of control, you have to burn through your own humanity. Eventually, there's nothing left but the power itself, a cold, hungry flame with no person left to enjoy it. You aren't using the dark side. At a certain point, the dark side is just using you to spread itself. Let's talk about the thought bomb mentioned in the Old Republic lore. It's the perfect metaphor for the ego. A thought bomb requires multiple Dark Lords to focus their hatred into a single point. But because their hearts are filled with treachery, the ritual is inherently unstable. It's a weapon that destroys the user just as much as the enemy. This happens in the real world, too. Think about history's most brutal dictators. They build systems where their subordinates are too afraid to tell them the truth. This creates an information vacuum. When you rule through fear, your advisors will lie to you to stay alive. You start making decisions based on those lies. The Dark Lord becomes the architect of their own delusion. By the time the Jedi or the rebels are at the gates, the Dark Lord is often shocked. They thought they were invincible because they had silenced every voice that said otherwise. A single light flickering in a vast darkness. A character standing at a crossroads. So, if the dark side is a trap, why do so many choose it? Because it's easy. It's a response to pain. Most Dark Lords start as people who were hurt or who felt powerless. The Sith acolyte in the desert was scared, and the dark side offered him a way to never feel scared again. But there is a final irony. In seeking to never be a victim again, they become the ultimate victim, a slave to their own hatred. The hero's journey is about acceptance, accepting death, accepting loss, and moving forward. The Dark Lord's journey is about denial, denying death, denying the rights of others, and denying their own mortality. And since time and death are the only undefeated forces in the universe, the Dark Lord's quest is a war against reality itself. A war they are guaranteed to lose. Soft, fading light. At the end of the day, we tell these stories not just to see cool lightsaber fights or magic spells. We tell them as a warning. The dark side isn't a place. It's a mindset. It's the belief that your goals justify any means, that your enemies aren't human, and that your power is the only thing that matters. The Sith Lord ends up as a ghost in a thought bomb vortex, screaming for eternity. Not because they were beaten by a better fighter, but because they chose a path that had no exit. True power isn't the ability to destroy. It's the ability to build something that outlasts you. And that is something a Dark Lord, by definition, can never do. For more, please subscribe Anime Life Spectrum. Thanks for watching.